Hi, Pastor Nathan Decker with your hashtag Better Together Devotion. Make sure and click all the buttons below. That way you can make sure not to miss one of these in that regard. This week, I'm focusing mostly on ways that the modern world is doing things that the church used to, or perhaps still does, but doesn't do quite as well as the modern world. One of those is that I hear a lot of time people will talk about the moral compass of society. The way that we have navigated our world and such. The fact that the church used to be the place where that moral compass was set. People would look to the church to find out what they were to believe, how they were to behave, things like that. And we even probably, as a church, historically abused this. I mean, I've looked back at history books, and believe it or not, in our country, there were fees and fines for missing church services, and you would be taxed or have to pay a fine if you didn't show up on Sunday morning. That's really hardcore in that regard. But when we talk about the moral compass of society, we're talking about in our nation, a Judeo-Christian environment that helped guide and helped understanding. It was what gave us the Puritan work ethic as well as the Puritan social ethic. That not only were we supposed to work hard and keep ourselves humble, but we were to take the profits of what we earned, the profits of our work, and invest them back into society to better our culture as a whole. These were the things that guided us. These were the things that guided not just those that attended church, but society as a whole. Well, think about now how many different compasses we have in our society. In fact, our churches have fractured and fizzled and become so politically divided that depending on what message and what moral you want to hear, you can go choose which pew to sit in. And there's so many other voices beyond church that offer us moral compasses. There are whole departments of ethics at community colleges, and there are other experts who will tell us, to go read Immanuel Kant and other folks to find out the different theories and ways of understanding how we should think about our ethics, virtue ethics, and all these other ways of being. The church used to be the moral compass of society, and in many ways, for many people, we still are. But we're losing out a lot of the navigation of this because we have so many times in history abused this gift, this trust. One of the ways that I feel like we as a church need to reclaim this is by pointing people not to a particular path or perspective or policy or definitely not a particular party or vote or candidate, but pointing them to Jesus, pointing people to the spiritual connection with God, pointing folks to a faith journey that leads them to a practice that gets them closer to God. It's in getting closer to Jesus that we get better at who we are, and we are transformed in who we are, better at our relationship with each other, better at our societal functions. If we can get closer to Jesus, we'll be better together.